and let's go. So, Ludicrous and Boba Fett, thank you for being here on behalf of like the Megaweapon project. As usually, what I like to do is like having a short introduction about like yourself, the team, and then we can just jump straight to the project, like with some question, and then we have like the thread where people can just answer those questions. So the stage is yours.
Excellent. Boba, I hope you don't mind if I lead things off. Um, Great, good, thank you. I'll take the silence as an approval.
Yeah, I
So
think it
yeah,
is.
the core team. Well, first off, I'd say that myself and the man with the pseudonym Improvised Weapon are the two core founders of the project. We've been best friends for years and years, and been really into gaming basically our entire lives. We have a history of um, working on games together and building games together, but in the indie game development circuit. So, we have put a lot of hours and a lot of time into building games and how to figure out how to build games. And unfortunately, in the indie game circuit, usually you will find yourself on teams that run out of resources before the games can actually make it to market.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Particularly if you're building games for PC. Um, Mobile games experience a little less of that resource choke, but the stuff that we were building was usually stuff that we were more likely to play, which is generally PC titles. So he and I had sort of shared our dream for a long time of making games together and having our own game studio. And going the path of indie game development means that you're putting all your time in, you're putting all your effort in, you're getting passionate about a project that just might never make it to market. And on top of that, usually you're looking at projects that have no pre-funding or any sort of real resource wealth to start with. So you're putting in all your time and effort with the hope that it will be compensated at some point in the future. Hopefully, if you launch a successful game.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
so yeah, so we obviously saw potential for a model that sort of broke those trends by launching in the crypto gaming overlap. Um, I personally have been involved in crypto since 2014. Started getting into projects and being involved in projects more heavily in early 2017, doing things like content creation and community management, things like that. And I sort of pulled Improvised Weapon over into the space a couple of years ago because he is just an incredible developer. Can pick up basically any code language if he sits in front of it for long enough. He was able to, understand, pick up Solidity, no problem. He's got a lot of, JavaScript background.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Um, Lots of really applicable stuff as far as that went. And, we saw an opportunity to use something like a token tax to help pre-fund the project that we really wanted to build.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something that was, fast-paced, action-packed, original soundtrack, bright, colorful, but still, has some degree of brutality to it.
Okay. Yeah.
And we thought this space was perfect for that. And so that's what we sought out to build, to create. And thanks primarily to the success that we've seen since launch. Thank you, Boba, for your effect on that. Boba is our biz dev, marketing, and promotion man, the manager behind it all, at least. We found ourselves in a position where V1 of the game was fully funded from early on. We find ourselves in a position where we are able to build our team out rather rapidly and hire developers that have seen a lot of titles go to market. We brought on a developer last month who
Mm-hmm.
is responsible for, I believe, something like 24 titles, both mobile and PC, um,
Nice
and having
background.
him on board. Yeah, great background. The man is, I mean, yeah, he's MVP right now. We love having him on our team. But expanding out to a much more robust team in sort of response to having access to more resources than we were expecting to have. So uh, it's very nice, and definitely finds itself as a viable model compared to some of the more traditional gaming routes.
Yep. And like the violent part of the, like I say violent because I saw like the trailer on the
Yeah.
game, the music, that does it come from like the experience you had, like if I'm not wrong, one of the mods you did for Postal 2 might be right.
Oh,
With the
what was
ludicrous
that?
Gibbs with the chainsaw is one of
Did
what.
you say ludicrous jibs?
Yep.
It actually goes back even further.
Okay.
It's in
Because
reference to a game.
I didn't found like anything further back. Like I digged, but I didn't find
Yeah, that's
anything.
okay. The name of the game is Rise of the Triad.
Okay.
Um, yeah, Rise of the Triad is an old um, first-person shooter. One of the first in that it was technically a 2D game,
Mm-hmm.
much like Doom and Wolfenstein. Those were technically 2D games that used, plane scaling in order to emulate a three-dimensional world. Rise of the Triad is where uh, I'm referencing
Okay.
for the ludicrous jibs handle. Um, Sometimes when you killed one of your opponents in that game, it would rain down little bits and pieces, little giblets of their body, including like eyeball,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and you'd get a little console message that said ludicrous jibs.
All right. Nice.
Uh, yeah, but yeah, the brutality you see in the game, you hear a degree of it in the soundtrack,
Mm-hmm.
the original soundtrack. Nice sort of polyrhythmic metal with some references to the more contemporary Doom soundtracks in there also. Um, yeah,
Yeah, something like aggressive to keep up the pace of the game, like super fast pace.
yeah, energetic,
Yeah.
exactly.
And why the bunny? I saw bunnies. Why the bunny? They're
Oh
supposed
yes,
to be sweet and kind
yeah,
of
yeah. So
cute
you're
creatures.
watching. So you're watching the I guess it'd be one of the
Yeah, that
first
was one
real
of the
demos
pre-alpha
of.
gameplay. Yeah.
Yeah, so one of the first real demos of a mega weapon activating. That bunny is there because there is some history between Cave Dude, which is the character that my PFP is from, and the bunny.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a few different videos where it starts with Cave Dude putting down Bunny, and then teabagging Bunny, and then Bunny coming back with a rocket launcher and destroying all of Cave Dude's friends, and then yeah, so it's sort of just been like a building story.
Okay.
And yeah, that's the last installment in it. Was when Cave Dude went to their den basically, and yeah, eradicated a bunch of bunnies. No harm done,
Yeah.
everyone comes back.
So I could say like jibs like giblets, not jibs like goblets, right?
Yeah, jibs like giblets, exactly.
Okay. Anything also? Yeah, I saw like the token. You've been like sometimes down, sometimes up. Like how do you manage like to like keep away the FUD on the token with like the community?
Oh, I don't know. Like that's much less. I'd say that's much less something that I'm involved with
Mm-hmm.
and feel integrated with. When it comes to the things that I prioritize every day, it's building,
Yeah,
right? Like
true, true.
I want to make sure that I am constantly contributing to um, things that we consider valuable, that the team considers valuable, actual deliverables. Because hype is an extinguishable resource.
Mm-hmm.
Can't run anything on hype alone. But maybe Bobo will speak on this if he's around and if his mic is working. I know he's had some technical difficulties today, but you know, we kind of started off building on the concept from early on that rather than trying to keep a nonstop hype factory going, that
Yep.
the right way to go is a slow burn, long and strong, just reaching out to other communities, building strong relationships, and networking.
Yeah, that's like the one of the core of this space, like networking and building together.
Yeah, absolutely. And we find that sometimes, just shelling out money to influencers is destructive. Um, the community generally doesn't like it because you find, people and tokens getting manipulated.
Yeah, a lot of
And
them.
yeah, so yeah, I would say that in general, I think that having a core team that is less reactive to what their token is doing and more sort of maintaining sights on long-term deliverables and keeping their sights on things that will continue to contribute value and build trust with their community.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that those are closer to what our top priorities are. But if Bobo would like to say anything on the matter,
Yep.
biz dev, marketing, and promotion is a little more his bag. If he doesn't unmute, I'll probably just keep going because I know he's doing like 12 things at once, like usual.
Yeah, no, he didn't mute.
Oh yeah, you nailed it, Jibs. We're trying to build a strong foundation of our community. I think obviously there are people that care about price, but the people that come in and learn about what we're building, the vision that we have over the next period of time, they buy in to that vision and are okay with the short-term movements because they can. I don't particularly like to talk about price, but
Yeah, no.
they can look at market cap of other games that are out there,
Mm-hmm.
see what we're building, compare the two game styles, and say, all right, weapons should be there. We'll get there someday. Let's grow. Let's get to that spot. So they're very patient, and we're thankful to have that type of base.
I mean, you've built trust, and now they're just like, okay, we're in the same ship, and it's not like it's not a race; it's a marathon.
Yeah, and I mean, having a good community also, some of that falls on the team to sort of set expectations early on, educate your community early on, and sort of define, your brand from an early point, so that people know like what to expect. People know that they can trust you, that you're being transparent with them, and we think that that of course having that strong community is incredibly important when it comes to the success of a project. But yeah, we just, I guess, try to be the team that we would hope more projects would fall in line with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that this is what I would want from a team that was running a project that I was interested in. And I think, like, bottom line is that the team really wants to make this. Like, the team really wants to see this game a success. And so, in that vein, the interests that a lot of our community have, whether they are more speculative oriented interests or more long term interested in the same value we are, we find a lot of those priorities are in parallel to our priorities.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, the last thing we'd want to do is anything that would, sacrifice or jeopardize the potential of this thing that we're very passionate about that we're building. So that, in a lot of projects, you'll find that teams will tend to make decisions that result in more money for them.
Yeah,
They follow, decision processes that are, navigated with greed. But deep down, we kind of want the same thing that our community wants. And that's to create something that is successful and enjoyable and has a lot of sustainability,
Yeah, that's true. So now we spoke about the token. Maybe like a word about like the project with the game, like for the people that might not know what the game looks like and the gameplay and all like the stuff you have for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So our game is intended to be, an action-packed, fast-paced, high-energy game with an energetic original soundtrack, low poly, and generally our textures are more color reference oriented rather than being high resolution textures, which means that you can kind of, paint by color. They're much more resource lightweight. And, part of the reason for that is we have plans to release on for mobile platforms also.
Yep.
But yeah, low poly, a little more simple, bright, and colorful, a little more cartoony in aesthetic. And, we, in a lot of the trailers so far, have been showcasing the over-the-shoulder camera for a third-person shooter style.
Yes.
Our final style is going to be a little closer to a twin-stick style. It's going to be a twin-stick control scheme, but we're always going to have the opportunity for people to pop into that over-the-shoulder camera so that they can change their style of play mid-game, or pop the camera up close so that you can see some of the nice aesthetic details of your personal playable character, which a lot of people will probably be opting for the NFT version of it, so that you can always play with the same character and you can customize your own NFT. We plan on offering that camera mode as well as a lounge where holders of those NFTs will always be able to pop into and interact with others and check out everyone's cool sort of personalized NFTs.
All right, and
but yeah,
how are you like gonna integrate the weapon tokens into the game?
Yeah, so our model is more than play to earn. I'd say more accurately described as kill to earn. So we have different win conditions for a round. The first game mode that we are going to be launching with is the big PvP free for all.
Yep.
So no teams on V1.
Last player standing, right?
Yeah. Well, there's actually 3 different win conditions. So last player standing would be 1, at which point, any of the tokens that you have acquired in the game will be locked, and then they will have a weapon token equivalent once balances are reconciled, which we use a daily reconciliation period to keep the cost of all this stuff super, super low and keep the game almost entirely off chain. So last player standing would be one of the win conditions. One of the other ones is make it to the end of the match. So matches are 10-minute timed rounds. And if you make it to the end, you will be able to lock in any tokens that you have acquired in the process. And then the third win condition is our namesake. Is if you contribute to activating the Megaweapon, you will be able to lock your tokens in. So Megaweapons are large... large game.
Yeah, I saw like
laser. Yeah. So we've got like a reactor. The one you saw was the neutron sweeper, which basically just sends out giant beams of neutrons when it's activated and kills everyone on the level that hasn't contributed to activating it, just like any of the other mega weapons.
Okay, and how do you activate those like a mega weapon?
Yeah, so there will be keys that will randomly spawn across the level over the course of play.
Okay.
And if you pick up a key, it will be very apparent that you're carrying a key. And you have to interact with the Megaweapon for long enough to deposit that key. So we'll have a little bit of a timed ticker, almost like in what is it, Counter-Strike for
For
bombs
defusing
or
the
bomb
bomb.
bomb defusal. Yeah. So similar to that. Um, once the Megaweapon has all of the keys that it would that are required to activate it. On some levels, it would be 3. On others, it might be 6 or 7, depending on how many players are playing and the size of the map. Then the Megaweapon activates, and you have 30 seconds from when the Megaweapon activates until it goes off, until it detonates, killing anyone in the level who hasn't contributed to it, and then their play is done. So in that 30 seconds, we expect the fervor of play to ramp up substantially as people do their best to try to realize the only other win condition that they have control over, and that would be being one of the last, being the last player standing.
Yep.
And then once the Megaweapon detonates, once it goes off, then anyone who has contributed to activating it is welcome to continue playing. And then at that point, either of the other 2 win conditions can still be realized. So either the timer expiring or one of them being the last player standing.
All right. And for the different type of weapon, like what do you have in mind? Can I buy those? Can I
So yeah, everybody.
How does that work?
Not for the weapons. We're looking to avoid any opportunity for pay to win that we can. So if it's pay for a weapon, you can just go buy the most expensive NFT, which would probably be the most powerful weapon, and then that doesn't really lend itself well. Yeah, I'm sure it's easy to see the lack of sustainability in any sort of self-reinforcing wealth feedback loop like that. But the plan is to have everyone in a level start with basically an identical weapon, either melee or projectile, depending on which mutators are selected for the start of that round. And then from there, any additional weapons that are operated by a player are going to be pickups. So you get random drops and random pickups spawn throughout the level for a variety of weapons. We've got minor weapons like Desert Eagle or AK or a baseball bat with a radial saw in it or a nail gun. And we've got major weapons like a variety of different rocket launchers, flamethrowers. There's throwables like grenades, Molotov cocktails, all sorts of things. And we're building that weapon list out every day. We've got dozens of them already, and they're really fun. But looking to go even crazier after the game launch, or after testing at least, once we can determine exactly how much sort of resource overhead we have for things like mobile play or for very simple PC accessibility. Because one of the things that tends to be associated with like crazier weapons would be particle effects. And sometimes particle effects take up a lot of resources. So we want to make sure we've got, so we want to make sure we've got that flexibility and that overhead so that we can, develop more in that direction.
All right, nice. And like you was like earlier, you were talking about like the skin and the NFT. How does that work?
Yeah. So the NFT round. We will have many rounds as we go and as we develop, but our NFT minting round is known as the Degenerator. Our playable characters in our game are known as Degens, and the Degenerator is a minting that will allow players who want their own playable character to build their own. So we currently have combinations of components, hairstyles, head accessories for the head. We're working on shoulder accessories right now, body parts, clothing, all that stuff, including we're going to be having death animations or jib animations that
Okay.
you can associate with your characters. And you build that, you put all the parts and pieces together that you want to represent your playable character, and then you mint, and that is your NFT. And when you do that, we will have a database tied to it that keeps track of these combinations so that no two degens can have the same combination of parts and pieces.
All right.
Yeah,
So
and we're looking for the overall potential combinations to be something like 10 times the number of degens that we are expecting to mint for any given season or round of it, so that there's lots of additional,
and yeah,
variety.
you are talking like about like head accessories, and our like NFT, our like sign is a mask. Any change we could like collaborate and integrate a mask into the game?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I can get a texture of what that mask looks like, I am happy to add a mask like that into the accessories mix for people to choose from. And that's kind of the fun part is like I have just such a wild mix of things like gas masks and plague doctor masks and sunglasses and trucker caps and cat ears, bunny ears, all sorts of crazy stuff. And having that extra variety in there just means that some of the finished products, some of the NFTs are going to be really crazy personalizations,
Yeah, sure.
and I'm excited to see what people make.
All right, nice. I have here Evan asking, will there be like token buyback or token burning for weapon?
Yeah, so every single sale of an NFT is indicative of a deflationary event. So we have a special series of NFTs that we have auctioned 4 of the 6 off so far. These NFTs don't give any in-game perks, just out-of-game perks or meta perks.
Okay.
And all of the auctions so far have resulted in token burns. And then anytime we have a degenerator season, something like our upcoming degenerator round, all of the proceeds that are received as payment for minting those NFTs will be used to burn weapon tokens. So market buy and burn after each round of degenerator minting. So they have a potential to contribute substantial amounts of deflation
Okay.
over the coming months and years.
All right.
Yeah, good question. Thank you.
Checking here, yeah, I've asked like all my questions. So guys, if you have any question and want to come up on stage, because yeah, the thing was like all the project, the explanation was like pretty clear and neat. And
Thanks.
like if you guys agent have any other question, just raise your hand or ask them in the thread or in the no mic. And if no, I think we can wrap it up.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you think of any questions later, please, pop into our Discord or our Telegram. We try to be a very accessible team. And if no team members are immediately available, we also have a remarkably well-informed community. So, if we don't answer your question right away, there's actually a very good chance that a member of our community will answer it accurately, which is wonderful.
Yeah, like the early backer of the project, they know everything.
Oh man, I mean, even people that have come along later, it's crazy. Yeah, but as far as your comment just now goes, I did want to mention that we did not have any like backers, no VC, no team tokens, no pre-sale, nothing like that.
Okay.
We did as fair a launch as possible. All tokens are in circulation. Yeah, tried to have the fairest launch we possibly could.
Yeah, that's nice. And I see in the chat, thanks for answering. There's no question. I think the TMA went like clear, like crystal clear and neat. Explanation super detailed.
Great.
And Dad is proud.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Come on, Dad.
Well,
coming in and just say you're proud, Daddy.
Hello, I'm proud of you. I'm really proud.
Oh, thanks,
You did well.
Dad.
You're welcome,
Aw.
my son.
Man,
Keep up
this
the
is
good
so
work.
this is so cathartic. I've just
You're not the first person telling that. A lot of people think it's so funny to do.
Oh man, so goofy.
Then,
Well,
I think this this is it. Then
great.
thank you.
Well, yeah, I really.
Thank-
Yeah,
Oh,
go
sorry,
ahead, go
sorry,
ahead.
Dad. I
I
just
didn't
wanted to
say anything.
say, I really appreciate the opportunity to get to talk about, the project that we're so passionate about to other people. So
Oh,
thanks for having us.
and I forgot like the last super important question, Daddy. What are like? Is there
Excuse me?
any chance for like the guys who've listened to this AMA to have like a sweet whitelist spots on the project?
Boba, he's the one handling my handling
Yeah.
our whitelist allotment right now.
Yeah, for
Alright.
sure. Adam Boyd, you said this is recorded, right?
Yep. But I mean, I can take.
Yeah, so we can.
Okay, I can take just a screenshot here. I make a thread of the with like into the Discord here to collect the wallet, and I can just send like everything to you,
Yeah,
so you don't have.
Yeah, it looks
to
like-
and then if
anything.
if
Looks
you
like
share the recording with the rest of your community, we can give them a chance to kind of learn about the project as well. And if there's more interest there, yeah, let us know.
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I wanted to say it looks like BT Doge or Doge has had
Oh yeah,
their
yeah. Sorry, BT.
yeah.
You're coming in. Yeah. My bad. I didn't like put the show request. That you're going back to the audience.
Sorry. Guys, just wanted to do a big shout out to you guys. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here, helping us out. I love your nickname, Dad Jokes. I love Boba Fett. It's a really interesting ama. I was working while like listening to you guys. Sometimes hard, but just to let you know, guys, that I think all of us have been hearing all the things about the Megaweapons and else. So thank you guys for being here, and we are listening plenty of you of your work, and not a question, just like a big a shout out to you guys for your time and space.
Oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. It's nice of you. Well, yeah. With that sort of reception, yeah, feel very much at home, especially since Dad's here.
Yeah. The love presence of Daddy is there. All right.